Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I hope you're ready to get your mind aligned with the truth of God. And did you know that we have some resources available to help you do that throughout the day? We have t-shirts, we have stickers, we have various little pieces of merchandise that you can pick up. You can check that out at careygreene.com/merch. That's C-A-R-E-Y, green like the color.com/MERCH. All right, we are diving into the book of Proverbs again today. Proverbs 10, verse number 8. Man, at this rate, we are going to take a long time to get through the book of Proverbs, but that's okay. I am totally fine with that because Proverbs is so full of practical wisdom and a wealth of insight for us. Now, today, I want to ask you to consider a question. How is your question to statement ratio? And you may not even know what that means. You probably don't. But let me unpack it for you here for a moment. When it comes to what comes out of your mouth, how much of what you say is a question and how much of what you say is a statement? Now, I heard somebody refer to the way we speak in this manner to make the point that oftentimes we are just spouting out things that we think rather than being curious and seeking to be humble learners in the world. And I don't think it would take any of us very long to look at the modes of communication that exist in our world and to see they are all based around statements for the most part. People go on Facebook and they spout their opinion. People go on Instagram and they tell about what they did. There's very little question asking, which means a heart that's humble and a heart that's ready to learn. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Proverbs 10, verse 8 says, "The wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will come to ruin." So think that through for a moment. The person whose heart is wise is a person who receives, a person who is in a teachable posture. They are having wisdom spoken into their lives. And specifically here, it's talking about the commandments of God. So this person who is wise of heart does not read God's word or look at God's word and poo-poo it because it sounds culturally taboo, or does not write it off because it sounds impossible or difficult to pull off, or because it's going to inconvenience their life or cramp their style. No, the person who's wise of heart is going to receive what God says and is going to ponder it. They're going to digest it. And in that word receive is implied they're going to work at applying it in their lives. But the contrasting person, Solomon calls a babbling fool. It's a person who just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks, and they have no qualms about expressing their opinion on any number of subjects, whether they know much about it or not. And man, does this remind me of social media. Social media, for some reason, has given us all this impression that what we have to say is supremely valuable and everybody needs to hear it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't express our opinions about things, but what I am saying is I think we're too quick to express our opinions oftentimes. And I catch myself doing this. I read something on social media and suddenly I disagree and suddenly I want to get into an argument and I want to respond. And my friends, oftentimes we cause more heat than light when we do that. And the friction and the tension and the division that comes about from us simply getting into the fray and expressing our opinion alongside all the other babbling fools is not a good thing. I think more questions are needed, more desire to understand rather than seeking to be understood is needed. And because of verses like Proverbs 10:8, I believe Solomon would agree. You see, wisdom comes from learning. Wisdom comes from expanding our insight through receiving things from God and from others. You see, God's truth is what transforms, not our expression of our opinion. God's truth is what grows us, not our ability to let others know how we feel. And hear me very carefully. I'm not saying we should never share our opinion, but I am saying we should be much slower to do so than we are, because what it reveals is that we do not have a wise heart. We rather are moving in the direction of the babbling fool. Jesus, enable us to be people of wisdom whose hearts understand the power of humility and of humble learning and of receiving your commands as what they are, truth being communicated to us for our good and out of love, rather than anything else that our hearts or our world might tell us they are. And Jesus, keep us from being the babbling fools. As your people, we want to be good representations of you. We want you to be seen in a positive light because of how we interact in this world. So Jesus, teach us how and equip us for it. In your name,